with another episode of Education, the second one this week. I know. You excited, Courtney?
We're rolling.
This is what Christmas break does to us teachers.
I
We have
know.
time. We have time to do other things. You may notice we're both in like comfy sweats and just I didn't do my hair. We're just
I
chilling.
didn't either.
But yeah, we are back with another episode of Education, the Teachers Talk Terror podcast, where Courtney and I, a couple of educators, take this month a holiday Christmas horror film, discuss it, and then break down with a little educational lesson or what it would be like being a teacher in that environment. I'm one of your hosts, Mike.
And I'm Courtney.
And we are here today to talk to you about 2015's Krampus, a movie that I've seen before, you've now seen, but you'd mentioned, like, oh, kind of want to see that one. So here we are. And I do. I say it every week, but I really get a lot of enjoyment out of movies that, like, I kind of want to watch this because it solves the what's for dinner argument of we both know we need to watch a movie, but what's it going to be? And we don't really have an idea. So whenever one of us have an idea, it always goes well. And two, it gave us a reason for another episode because we do have one more episode we're going to get in this month because we'd be remiss if we didn't watch Black Christmas. And so we got to get that one done. So Krampus 2015. We talked a little bit about it at school yesterday. It's a very polished movie compared to some of the stuff. I mean, there's some studio money behind it. Universal Pictures distributed it. Legendary Pictures, a very popular production house, they produced it. A good director's behind it. So it definitely has a clean look to it. It has actors we've actually seen in other things before. And so, it's a fun little holiday movie. The director of this movie, Michael Dougherty, is perhaps more well known for a movie you, again, likely haven't seen. He directed an anthology Halloween movie before this one called Trick or Treat. It's just hour and 45-minute long or whatever. But I think there's 4 separate stories in that movie. But the overarching theme is all of these happen in the same town on Halloween. So it's like we see all the different characters kind of mix and match through each other's stories, but they're all, how like when people are trick-or-treating, you're out on your own path, but you're still seeing all kinds of people you know. It has that kind of vibe to it. It's a really fun movie. And so he really kind of made himself popular there. And he wanted to make another holiday horror film, and that's where Krampus came from. So, have you ever, prior to this movie, have you ever heard of the actual fictional story of Krampus, like the real?
No, I knew that Krampus was to do with Christmas, but I was telling you yesterday, I don't know, I thought Krampus was not an entity or something. I thought Krampus was an animal.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah. And so apparently in Austrian and German lore, it's Santa's shadow, I think is the the fictional, but real world influence is I believe it's Santa's shadow. I'm not going to dig into it right now. And so it is very popular in Austria and German culture that it's there's Santa, which celebrates and rewards the good kids, and then there's Krampus, who, if you've been naughty, he's not going to take your gifts, he's going to take you. And so, a scare tactic, basically.
Yes.
Which, like you said, is a scare tactic you're plenty planning on using when you have children.
This will be part of my parenting plan when Casey and I have kids. Because I'm going to be listen, do you want to make that choice? Because Krampus will get you.
And it's March 3rd, and you're not going to wait till the season. You're going to get going.
No, I'm not. Krampus is here year round, kids.
Right. So in the movie, Krampus is an entity. He's this zombie demonic Santa figure that exists, but nobody knows he exists except Omi, the grandmother. She's had run-ins with Krampus before, being a German speaking, I would assume she's probably native to Germany.
Yeah.
As her background animation part, which I did love, really played into her youth over in Europe. But the rest of the family knows nothing about Krampus. So the events of the movie are really out of nowhere for these guys.
Yeah.
So the movie does kick off a couple days before Christmas. Our main character's name is Max. He's the kid that's kind of on the cusp. He's got older people in his life that don't believe, and he wants to believe, but he sees his family just absolutely dysfunctional, and really society. I really got a kick out of the opening credits of this movie, where they're playing this. I can't even remember what Christmas song it was, but this very traditional Christmas song. But they're showing the Black Friday.
Just the total chaos of the season.
Yes, of shopping during the holiday season. And so it was just really fun. People fighting each other and stepping on and over security, and it's all while it's the Christmas song playing over the top of it. But Max he believes in Santa, and he wants to write him a letter, and his letter just basically consists of I want my parents to fall in love again. I want to hang out with my sister like we used to. He's really holding on to what family used to be and wishing that was what his family was like now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so breaks my heart.
He just wants to be a happy kid. And he realizes the things that he wants are completely out of his control. Mm-hmm. And so it is, but they are still a nuclear family. You got mom and dad and his sister, and grandma lives with them, who speaks mostly German. And Max, he understands German. He's very fluent in German. And like the Christmas season, family's coming. So mom's side of the family, her sister Linda, and her husband Howard, which are the epitome of red state, NASCAR loving, Trump flag bearing, gun toting, just that.
Yeah,
that's what they are. That's what they are. And it's I don't think, being 2015, it wasn't a social statement. It was just a snapshot into everything that Max's family is not. Yes. Max's family is everything needs to be decorated and in its proper place, and we're going to have creme brulee for dessert, and everybody's going to wear their best holiday sweaters, and then, like I said, Linda's family shows up, and the two daughters are dressed like boys, and they burp uncontrollably at dinner, and it just, they're guests in Max's home, yet still are the most insulting people you would ever have over.
Like the little boy, he's not even cutting his food up when he eats it. Like he just shovels a big old thing into his mouth.
And so they all show up. Like I said, it's Linda and Howard and their 4 kids. Howie Jr. is the kid that's shoveling food into his face. But then they're not. I don't think they're twin sisters, are they?
I don't think so, but I mean, because one definitely looks more like a boy.
Yeah, but their names are Stevie and Jordan, which are ambiguous names. Then there's the baby. They bring their dog unannounced, and then Sarah and Linda's aunt, who really is everything on the other end of the spectrum that grandma is.
Yes.
Grandma's this quiet, keeps to herself, family first, and then there's Aunt Dorothy, who's just loud and obnoxious and
insulting
nobody really...
Sarah from the minute she walks in the door.
Yeah. I've got all these insults ready. And so Max is already burnt out. He's wanting Christmas to go so well because he believes, and then the family shows up, which just adds more and more pressure to it. One of the cousins steals his letter, reads it aloud, so now it's an awkward situation. He tells them he hates them all. He just lashes out.
Yeah.
Which really, where it comes to, because his dad is trying to say, like, Max, we'll get your letter mailed, and Max just tears it up, throws it out the window. And that's basically like Krampus's awakening call.
Mm-hmm.
Because that night, like, out of nowhere, blizzard, power outage, it's just disaster. Like,
yeah.
And this is, I really, really wanted to believe that Max's parents were intelligent people. But as soon as the daughter is like, oh, can I go check on my boyfriend? And they're like, yeah, sure. And while you're at it, go see if anybody else has power. Like,
yeah. And this is, this is where the downward spiral comes in, because she's chased, Beth,
mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, Beth.
Yeah, Beth.
She's chased by this, like, what I thought that Krampus was, this almost like, I don't know, moose type looking reindeer.
It's just giant, like, horned yak or something. Like, it's just this, just massive, like, oval. Like, really, I mean, you didn't really see any arms or legs. You saw hooves and horns, and then just hulking body.
So she hides under the delivery truck, and this is where I think it showed, like, the entity has now taken over toys and, like, all things that are good for Christmas. Because a Jack-in-the-Box starts playing, and it attacks her, and this is where we assume that she is killed.
Right, because she screams, and, it's like we do. We're like, oh, she's a goner.
Yep.
Which, for a Christmas horror film, like, you just killed a kid.
Yeah. The first
and
kill
this
is
is
a child.
Like, and it's one thing when we see it in something like Silent Night, Deadly Night, but I'm like, this is a universal movie. Like, these are actors and actresses we've seen and we've heard of, and it's like, you just killed that kid? And, this is a Christmas, like, because even Gremlins is, I mean, it's a straight up Christmas horror film, but, like, for the most part, all the young people are safe. Like, they had, nobody dies that, from the Gremlin. Well, kids don't die. You don't even really feel that they're in peril. But this movie's like, you just murdered that girl.
She's gone.
So her parents did set a deadline of an hour. Be back home in an hour. Because it's a blizzard and we should send our daughter out alone. Just stupid. So she doesn't come home in an hour, so Dad and Uncle Howard are going to go search for her. They get to the boyfriend's house, and the boyfriend's house is just destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, chimney is broken. Like, there's hoof prints in the house. Like, just destroyed. And so that's where they were expecting to find Beth. Of course, they didn't find Beth. And they're attacked by a monster in the snow. It's almost like something underneath the snow. It attacks Howard, Uncle Howard. He gets bitten in the leg. Tom shoots it. And then they got to get home. They come across like a snowplow that has just been ended, basically.
Yeah.
So whatever they're dealing with it's anybody outside of their home is in danger. So they get back, and of course, bless you. It's all right.
Oh my goodness.
I'm glad you're a quiet sneezer, because me, it would have blown your eardrums out. I've been sneezing. And so when they get home and they do the sensible thing, they're like, they board up the windows. They're going to take turns with watch, But what? And another thing about this, did you find this movie, like, funny at all?
Yes, I did.
Good, I did too. Because they were trying to be humorous, and we've seen before, like, comedy and horror can mix really well if it's done right, and I think they did a pretty good job in this one. There's some funny things, being said and funny things seen. I got a kick out of it when, like, Uncle Howard, who we really think has turned a corner here, is, he and Tom are talking, and Tom's like, I'll take the first watch, and Howard's like, no, you get some sleep with your family. Like, you just lost your kid. You go be with your family. I'll take watch. And then, like, instantly cut to he's falling asleep.
Yes.
And so once he falls asleep, though, like, this is where the attack on the house starts. This huge hook with a gingerbread man comes down the chimney and just kind of jingles enough until, Chubby Howie Jr. wakes up. And, he baited this kid.
Yes, and he is like what some would say like my spirit animal, I feel like. Like, he saw this and he was like, that looks delicious to eat.
Nothing suspicious about this. Nothing,
No.
There's a gingerbread man hanging from a hook in the chimney. Ah, well, it takes a big bite. Howie Jr. And it comes to life. Basically, he was fishing for this kid.
Yeah, and
comes to life and starts dragging him up the chimney. What's the mom's name? Sarah. Sarah jumps and grabs Howie Jr.'s ankles like that, and I think that's a lot to be said too, because these families can't stand each other. But when Aunt Sarah is the first one to try to save the kid, and it's not even her kid, I think that says a lot about where the story's headed with family. And it's like, so Howie Jr. gets lost. He gets pulled up. A fire log catches the Christmas tree on fire and presents, and it's just a disaster, and nobody knows what's going on except one person.
Yep.
Grandma Omi.
Yes.
Who's Yeah, she's kind of a mysterious character. I mean, you can tell she's scared, but she's also the most knowledgeable person in the house.
Yes, she's just kind of standing taking this all in, because she's like, I know that something is hunting us, but are they going to take me seriously? Because it is if my grandma were to be like, yeah, something's haunting you, I'd be like, okay. Yeah. Sounds good, Grandma.
However, if I just watched my nephew get pulled up the chimney by a living gingerbread man, I think like Howard, because Howard, I think it was really sensible. He's like, the stuff we've seen tonight, I'm in. I believe it. Actually, no, he goes the other way. He was, Howard was more angry, like, I'm not listening to this. And it's like, dude, you just watched your kid pull up the chimney.
Happened.
You just walked through a house that was destroyed with giant hoof prints in it. Things are not normal. Yeah, but she explains in a really beautiful animated flashback. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Of what Krampus is. He's just this ancient spirit that punishes those who've lost the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
So it's not so much if you've been naughty, it's if you quit believing. So it's is this what everybody in their culture dealt with when they stopped? When they stopped believing, it's well, guess what? You're going to pay the price now. And so Omi's telling her story about how she and her parents, they lost theirs because of the war in Europe, and so she wished her parents would be taken away, and it's what happens. He drags everybody to hell.
Yeah.
Except her and
her.
this. Yeah, and it's and like a Christmas bell with his name on it.
Uh-huh.
And so everybody is they don't believe it, but they do hear something upstairs, so they head upstairs, and then there's this massive fight, and it's really, really well done between a bunch of living toys. Some of them pretty creepy looking.
The one that almost looked like, I don't know, those tunnels. We crawl through a tunnel in class to get out of the classroom.
Yeah.
And one of them looked like one of those, but white, and it's this big, Jack-in-the-Box type looking thing.
With this detachable jaw that opens up to eat children. You've got this demonic angel looking thing. Mm-hmm. There was a teddy bear that went nuts. There was this robot thing.
Yes, the robots.
It's just toys. Toys and Christmas things that are just coming to life. And so, they, like I said, it's just this giant fight. It was fun to watch. It was a lot of back and forth. Ends up, Aunt Dorothy gets her hand on a gun, and she's the one that's
Dorothy.
Yeah, sharpshooter Annie Oakley over here. She's taking everything down until she gets attacked and she gets attacked and yanked out the way. It's they're not going to win, right?
No. And then elves come
Oh
through.
yeah, the elves. That's right. The elves
and
show
I
up.
think they're because like and Grandma, she knew. She's like
Oh, yeah.
elves.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she calls it because they hear it outside
they bust through the boarded up windows and they took Dorothy and baby Chrissy.
And they're almost like pirates, like because they don't attack anybody, but they're almost like we will if we have to.
Yes,
we're here for something, and just let us take it, and that's really what has to happen. So now, like the family size is obviously dwindling. Everybody's lost somebody now. Really, like Tom and Sarah, they've only lost Beth. Whereas Howard and Linda, like they've lost almost all their kids now.
Yes.
Howie Jr.'s gone, the baby's gone, and I think one of the twins, not twins, but Stevie or Jordan, one of the two.
Yeah, Jordan was eaten by that Jack in the Box thing.
And so Tom decides we got to get to that snowplow. Everybody's headed out. Omi stays back and locks herself in the house to distract Krampus, basically.
Yes.
So he shows up, attacks her, bag of toys. Before that, there was this fun fight where Howard's like fighting off all these gingerbread men in the kitchen.
I was going to say, when you were done saying that, I was going to say backtrack. I loved how he's like fighting off these gingerbread. And then his comment was like, just got my ass kicked by all these gingerbread men. I could take it.
I love how like he really was like he was losing, and then like one's just about to attack him, and then his dog comes in and eats it. Like,
after he had just told the dog like you're worthless, Rosie.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because she like ran off in fear, and she came and saved the day. I guess this movie is funny. They balance the horrific scenes with comedy pretty well.
Yes.
And so, everybody is outside. Like Tom and Sarah, Linda, everybody's dragged under the snow. Stevie's captured by the elves. It's really just Max. Because this is what it's been all about. Like, if we listen to Omi's story, in this live action part, Max is Omi.
Yes.
He wishes his family would go away, and Krampus is giving him his wish. Just like Omi had wished. So Krampus is dragging everyone to hell, just like he did for Omi. And so Max, he confronts him. They're like out in the street having this sacrifice. So Krampus gives Max the bauble, and it's like wrapped in his letter, because the letter that Max had torn up and thrown out.
That was like his last hope, sign, in my opinion.
And this is also where Max realizes that he's the one that caused all this.
Yeah.
And so he chases after him, and he just begs, like, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I want my family back. Don't let this be it. Take me instead. And Krampus is no, and we get some. This is the first time we really get close-ups of Krampus too.
Yeah.
And he just looks like his mouth's all like gaunt, and he looks like Santa passed away 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
And nobody found the body.
Nobody.
It's pretty gross looking. So Krampus refuses, tosses Stevie into the pit to hell. This is again, Max is apologizing for it, and Krampus doesn't care. He tosses Max into the pit. It's like, this is what you wanted, kid. You quit believing, and this is what you wished for.
Your wish is granted.
So I would say that honestly, Kevin McAllister got away with some. Like he got off easy when he wished his family would disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
Unlike Max. Max really is paying for it.
Yeah. Careful what you wish for, kids.
Just as he's falling into the depths of hell, he wakes up. He wakes up in his bed.
He's like looking around like, is this real life? Goes downstairs, and they're all like getting along. I would say Beth's annoyed because they've had to wait forever for Max to wake up, but that's just typical older sister, I feel like.
Right.
And they're all unwrapping presents, and it flashes to him, and his is revealed. And it is the bauble little thing with Krampus's name on it.
Right. And I really enjoyed the look on everybody's faces when they see it. Because we were looking at it through Max's eyes. Like, Max woke up, is this, like you said, this shouldn't be happening. Maybe everything was a dream. And then when he sees everybody else and they're all engaged and enjoying each other's company, you just feel like we knew it wasn't a dream, but we understand maybe he's like, oh, okay, maybe it was just a dream. But I really enjoyed like just the look on everyone's faces as they basically were dealing with the same emotions Max was.
Yes.
They woke up with a what just happened, but then they just went with it, like whatever. And I just thought it was
alive. We're not going to question it.
It was a really cool directorial choice because they just as easily could left us out of the decision and just see them all wake up and act like it was a big dream. But by polling I really liked it. I really liked that look on everyone's face of like, yeah, we did all go through that, didn't we? And then just kind of a confusing did they, didn't they situation. Because the camera backs out from the house through the window, and we see that the house is in a snow globe.
Yes.
In Krampus's workshop, basically. And there are a huge collection of other snow globes laying around, which shows that Krampus has been busy.
Yeah.
And so, he's keeping an eye on these things. And it makes me want to sit there. I'm like, I know it happened, but can they leave their house? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because we saw outside their house, there's a town, but the snow globe only extends to like halfway through the front yard.
Yeah.
Like oh man. I'm curious. I don't think we'll ever get an answer, but curious.
Is there no Krampus 2?
There's not.
No.
So, and that's okay. I don't think it warrants a sequel necessarily. I'm just curious. So that's Krampus. It was fast paced. Hour and a half. Like
it kept you.
They did a really nice job of really not unveiling the supernatural stuff till like the second act. They really laid the scene on just being a normal dysfunctional Christmas, and then they brought this other element in.
Yes.
And I thought that was pretty cool too. So
it was very relatable.
Very
for
much
I'm
so.
sure a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and more so this coming weekend. So let's grade this thing. What would you like to give it as a grade?
Overall, I really liked this. Like I had said, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but I still really liked it. I'm going to give it a B.
Okay.
Just because it was, like I said, very relatable. It was funny. It had that little like jump scares to it. I mean, nothing that scared me too much, but
no.
It was. I really enjoyed it, and it had a good lesson with it. I feel like.
I think so too, which makes our job on this podcast a little easier when the movie has a very clear-cut lesson. It feels like it fits right in our wheelhouse. So a B, fair enough. I'm going to give it a B plus. I really like it. They balance the funny and the horrific, and it's not like lots of blood, scary horrific, but it's still enough intensity that is fun to watch, and you could tell they're having fun with the horror. When they making the creatures, they really did make them gross and creepy looking, like that flying white angel with the bug eyes. I mean, she was creepy to look at, her tongue whipping around, and so I'm going to give it a B plus for the effort. I could definitely understand this movie is not for everybody because it is a dedicated Christmas movie. But I could see some people obviously being like, I want my Christmas movies to be feel good movies.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be your family's going to hell. And you're not in the clear because you're also there too. But I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to give it a B plus. All right. Lesson. What do you got?
Okay. Well, your kids don't hear this, right?
Nope.
Okay. So I think because like a lot of our, I don't want to say a lot because we don't really have a lot, but high school.
Yeah.
High
Go ahead.
school kids that might listen to this, if
Uh-huh.
you have younger siblings, like, please still have, like, hope and just the love and spirit of Christmas, because it is, like, such a magical time for little kids. And I don't have kids myself, but, like, seeing how excited my kindergartners get, like, don't ruin that for them. Even if you don't believe in Santa, still just, like, put on a show and just make it magical for your siblings, cousins, whoever, because it's like, I love seeing the kids' faces light up, and it's, when they're done believing, it's kind of sad.
Right. Oh yeah, especially because there is so much make believe.
Yes.
That we spend so much time trying to get teenagers to tell the truth.
Uh-huh.
This is like the one time of year where it's like, go for it.
Just lie away.
Go for it. It's for a good cause. No, I do. I like that. I think that's sound. I guess mine would be parents and teachers. Okay, because it applies to us too. Not you so much as me being but there's a certain level where you can trust your kids, but don't put them in situations where they are doomed to fail. Parents, if your son or daughter wants to go walking around town with some friends, you can give them that, but give them some boundaries as well. All right, we've got a winter storm coming in the next few days. If it's blizzard conditions and my daughter wants to go for a walk, no. Yeah, no. And the same thing, teachers could do the same thing. If and it probably happens more with teachers earlier in their careers, because they're still trying to learn the nuances of kids taking advantage of them. But if you've got students that just like they seemed engaged in something and then suddenly have to go to the bathroom, don't let them go in pairs. Like they're up to something.
Yes.
I had that happen Friday. I had a couple of students that asked to come to my classroom from another class because we were watching a movie. I said, that's fine. And they get in there and instantly are just chatterboxes distracting. And they teamed up with a third. So there's 3 girls there that are just chatting away. And I'm just ignoring them. But then at one point, one of them like breaks conversation, looks at me and, can I go to the bathroom? And I just look at her and I said, by yourself, sure. And her shoulders just dropped. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not stupid. It would have been can she go with me? No.
Yeah.
No, she can't. Because I know how that works. So I guess that would be my lesson is make sure that you have set the boundaries of your trust before you let your kids go off and do something. Just because teenagers are, with all due respect, teenagers are idiots.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in an educational sense or academic sense. I just mean in terms of decision making. They don't know how to do it yet. So they're purely looking out for what's going to benefit them in the short term. And that may not be the best interest. So as in case of this movie, there's a blizzard and the power's out and it seems to be out all over town. Can I walk by myself to my boyfriend's house? No, you cannot do that. No.
Especially when you look 12. Like...
Yeah, and we never see her again until the end. Like, she's taken. She's gone. So no, you cannot go to your boyfriend's house. And so just that's I guess my lesson here is trust as far as you feel you could trust, and then pull it back a little. So, all right. So that's episode 13.
13.
Episode 13.
We're in the teens.
I know. We will come back after Christmas to watch and discuss Black Christmas. We dove into a little bit last week of how old it is and some of the story behind it and the influence it's had, as well as the director who went on to direct A Christmas Story. I really, really enjoy Black Christmas. There's nothing funny about it. It's a straight horror film. And it's spooky, and it's like you're in a house by yourself. What do you do? That kind of. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So we will be back next week to watch that. Courtney, you got anything to send people out with before the holiday?
Have a wonderful Christmas, and even if your family's weird, don't wish them away.
That's true. Just sit back and make fun of them mentally, like I do. Right? Find something. That's a fun little game to play. Find the family member who's probably the quirkiest and lean into it. Like keep find your favorite cousin and start like a competition to see. I may or may not have been guilty of doing that in my past. But whatever. But don't wish them away because they're normal in their world and you're the weird one. So just be nice to each other. And have yourself a merry little Christmas, everybody.
Yes.
Or whatever holiday you choose to celebrate. Happy holidays to you and yours. You do know where to find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And leave us comments down below. What would you like to see in the post-holiday season when we get back to non-holiday themed horror films? So, I guess for episode 13, Krampus, I'm Mike.
I'm Courtney.
And we will see you guys next week after the holiday. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Bye.